Hey, good afternoon. It's me, Maria, back with another video. It's 1:15 p.m. It is June 10th. Unfortunately, it is Monday, but it's like in the middle. It's like in the afternoon, okay? So a lot of you guys are going to be getting off from work pretty soon. So just make the best of it, okay? And hopefully you're using your Mondays to actually be creative, in the evening. Maybe you're doing things, shaking up your routine, having something to look forward to, like maybe have something special to eat when you get home, or do something different with your family or whatever. But definitely shake up your routine. You just want to get out of the humdrum before, you just like die of complete and utter boredom. But anyway, I wanted to come on here and make a video because I have a lot of things going on in my head, and I always feel like, man, once I start talking, clear my slate, right? Then I can be more focused on what it is I have to do. Okay. Now, as some of you know, I'm not going to go too deeply into my frustrations with what's going on with the Swan Song Manifesto. We've all heard it before. I'm tired of hearing myself talk about it over and over and over again. And we all know how my life came to a screeching halt because of all of this drama, right? So it's like, in the last few days, I had mentioned that I'm sitting here, thinking about re strategizing, figuring out what's my next step, because, and which slows down the process of me creating content, mainly because I'm confused. Okay. So, I mean, I had to sit here and think through about, and it was important for me to understand who had their hands involved in this. Okay. So, and I know it's been like rebuilt slowly but surely, and a lot of this I could have understood quicker. Okay, could have gotten to the bottom of this quicker had I let myself, tune in more. Meaning, like, obviously I'm extremely intuitive, right? But there's a lot of things you don't want to deal with. You don't want to accept that your family's doing shit to you. You don't want to accept this person's involved in it. You don't want to deal with understanding that there's certain people who just don't, they're just fucking hell bent against you. And what puzzles you is because I didn't never did anything to this person. Okay. Now, I don't want to go too much into this, and I know that it's freaked a lot of people out. And I want to say thank you for the people who have supported me through this, who've watched, the whole thing kind of unravel itself. God knows it's been a very, very long time, okay? And I'm exhausted, okay? And right now, I'm going to give you an update as to what's going on. We all know that I'm supposed to create, this is a standard for myself, and because I wrote it into, like, the intro page of the Swan Song Manifesto's channel, I sticking to that, okay? Because I'm committed. This is my project. This is my drive, right? So I have up to a minimum of 4 videos to produce and upload onto my channel. Whether people are, I know people are messing around with my stuff, okay? And this is what bothers me so much because this is my money, okay? So anyway, I'm committed to making at least 4. Now, mind you, if I wasn't dealing with the stagnation of what these people had did, okay, I would be on fire, right? I would be like cranking out content a little bit, out, more than that. I want more content, okay, a variety mixed bag of different things on my channel. But because I'm dealing with, people forced partnerships and people doing a lot of illegal stuff behind the scenes, creating this sort of stagnicity, and of course ultimately it's a form of abuse. Okay. And like I said, we know who was involved in it. I don't want to go too deeply into it because I'm not trying to fester up this situation in a sense of creating a lot of resentment, because I know that there's a lot of people who rose up on my behalf, and I want to say thank you. Okay. But now it's time to move on. All right. And so as I'm trying to move on, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I need to prioritize, but I also need to look at this as a form of like a test study, because I think when you're formulating anything when it comes to business, it's important to make sure of all the little changes, all the little weird wrenches that get thrown in your way, and then how you're going to navigate them. Okay, and I pay attention to certain methods that I do. Everything to me is interesting because I look at everything as a form of research, right? So right now I'm trying to figure out, I got to put up more content, obviously, because what I've earned on Patreon, I want my money, and I also want to continue working with them. However, it was my goal is to be working with them exclusively. That was my goal, because no one wants to have, oh, you can see me on this thing and you can also see me on this thing. Okay, so this is one of the issues about people forcing on their the partnerships. I wanted to kind of go back a little bit, and I'm not mentioning any names, but I do want you guys to understand the operational problems that are going on with my structure of my plan. Okay, we all know that when you ideally when you're dealing with some of these companies that allow you to upload your content onto their channel, there's sometimes people do things that they shouldn't. Okay, and when we deal with things like outside intrusion, um, this creates problems. Okay, and when I will tell you, if you're a content creator, okay, and you are uploading your content onto these channels, okay, you need to understand this is your asset. This is your work. I mean, you need to look at it as your work. You need to prize it. It is valued at something. So in this case, you don't want to sit here and take chances, and you do want to make sure that the companies that you're working with are reputable. Now, there are companies that really should be more responsible as far as privacy and protection. Okay, this is where we're talking about violations of privacy and protection. Okay, and so third parties should not be able to enter into the picture. Now, I am asking, in a society that has little understanding of any morality. You know what I mean? This is the world that we're living in, and unfortunately, I feel like it's extremely frustrating for me because I have been making, sincere efforts to try to improve my situation as well as my desire to work with other celebrities. When I say other celebrities, is like I'm loosely affiliated with this celebrity group, okay? And unfortunately, there were some people in this celebrity group that decided to flip me the bird just because, based off of the experiment propaganda, and they just wanted to fuck with me just because they could. And so, for the people who ended up getting what they got and deserved, do I feel sorry for them? The answer is absolutely no. Okay, because some people they're like dumbass, right? Libra 14, he's shocked as hell, like when he found out that he got caught and this was all exposed, right? And I'm not trying to go on and on about this issue, but the reason why he was shocked as hell and exposed because he didn't see anything wrong with what he did. You know what I mean? But the law would say something different. And also, him, whether he understood that it was illegal or not, he would still be held accountable in a court of law. Okay? Because deep down inside, he knew good and well that that was not his to touch. And if he didn't know at least that, if he even only did it because it was a form of his harassment, thinking it's funny to play with somebody's life, he would still be responsible. Okay, he would still be looked upon as guilty because you don't do that to another person. That's just like a no-brainer. Okay, I don't want to go, and I keep going on and on and on about it because I'm rattled because of, I understand. See, I know I was so attacked. Okay, I was like so attacked when a little bit after the leaving the farmer's place, okay, because I was being looked at as the know-it-all. I was being looked at as a person that like, oh, I'm just so like so perfect, like dotting my I's and crossing my T's, and I follow too many rules, or I'm just too meticulous when it comes to this thing. The reason why is because of this. This is. See, when people were belittling me and saying that they didn't like my views, they were doubting me, they were questioning my intelligence, they were doing all this stuff, and I told these people this is exactly what this stuff is and why you should not be a part of it. Now look. Okay? So, I understand what I'm talking about. After living 88 years, 88 lives, and me studying people, this experiment, the Nazi, flipping the Nazi experiment, I'm very proud of that. You know what I mean? I think I wish I could have added better visuals. That's my only regret. And who's to say I might change it a little bit because I think there's like some really cool visuals that I could add to it. And then I might even extend it a little bit longer. Okay, I don't know. But right now, my main focus is, working on more content for the month. And yes, I have to have drive. Like I had mentioned before, I am I'm all I have. You know what I mean? When I was a part of this experiment, and I do believe that, there were certain people who mixed themselves up with my social media, okay, who were either brainwashed by this social experiment or whatever, okay, and they should have known better than to sit here and dangle my life in the manner that they did. That right there is inexcusable. It's inexcusable. If you knew of my background, okay, and you thought it was funny to do something like that, then you are sick. Period. Okay, so I don't appreciate that at all. But anyway, I have to, get myself together, and then I have to do some readjusting, and I have to keep on moving. Like I said, I am all I have. And I knew this from the very beginning. Okay, so when I left Murray Family Farms place, this disturbed me. Okay, clearly I am not responsible for any of this. I am obviously somebody who got sucked up into some sort of targeting program, which I really resent. But I do not have specific celebrity messages today. Mainly, I'm making videos today just because I'm trying to get a lot of stuff out of me, right? Because I feel like I want to talk a little bit, and which will allow me to get it out and be able to focus on the content that I'm going to be making shortly. I am going to have to review a couple of things that I have not put into practice. I use PowerPoint, right, to make my videos. And there's certain things that I use a lot, and there's certain things that I've learned about through this PowerPoint course that I took. But because I don't use them all the time, you either use it or you lose it. That's all it. So there's certain things I would like to add more visuals if I could in my video content. So I'm going to have to review a little bit more of that. I'm trying to do some testing, okay, when it comes to, platforms and stuff like that, and also introduction and things like that. So I don't have the ability to pay anyone to assist me right now because of this issue. Okay. Also, I feel as though I should have been like long ahead of this schedule by now, because I got a jump start in October. Had things worked and people would have stayed out of my business, everything would have worked like clockwork. Okay. It was a flawless plan. Okay. Unfortunately, you always have to deal with people who want to play this kind of garbage. Okay. And this is why I would like to warn some of these content creators who are also interested in doing something similar. Whether you're somebody who's selling items online, or you're somebody who is entertaining people, giving lessons, or whatever, people need to be very careful about what's going on right now. Okay, because the 9 to 5 can be a little messy. There's a lot of outside intrusion that should not be, that shouldn't be happening. Okay, and it's putting a cork. Okay, it's putting a cork in our economy when you really, really look at it. Okay, because there's people who want to work, are able-bodied to work, but we have people manipulating the strings, doing illegal stuff, telling people not to hire so-and-so because they wear, pink striped pajamas in their own house, minding their own business, but it pisses off their next door neighbor. This kind of bullshit that's going on. Okay, do I believe that it's playing a big chunk in it, plays a big role in it? Yes, I do. Okay, then also could it help the economy if we stop having people making cork stops and messing up with social media. There's a lot of people who may not be able to deal with or go to work in the 9 to 5, okay, but maybe they have a talent, a skill. I saw this lady who was able to weave like these beautiful African baskets. Did she have the right, if people could do very well for themselves, okay, if people would stop this cork stuff. Like I call it the cork stuff, because here's the flow of the economy, the opportunities and everything, and we have these illegal operations that want to create a cork stop. You know what I mean? Illegal. I will tell you right now, it is illegal when people have breaches of contract, breaches of privacy, breaches of whatever, letting third parties be involved in things when they're not supposed to. What they call, I think I'm going to use the word piggybacking or ciphering. So what would be like if for example, you have a video content company, right? And I'm not, this is just an example, okay? I'm not saying that this is happening, but if you had like a video content company, right? And so, like for example, somebody's uploading their video, right? And so they are taking that upload, and then they're putting it on somebody else's channel where somebody's getting paid for it, or somebody's actually getting the credit for it, or something along those lines. I'm not saying that that's what's happening. All I'm saying is that, a lot of times people are taking chances with their precious content. Okay, the hours that you put into it, the unique ideas, and whatever it is that you are creating, it is your asset. So you have to be careful with it, and you need to make sure that these companies are reputable. There should be some sort of reporting system, like kind Consumer Reports, okay? Consumer Reports is kind of like a business reference manual back in the day where like my dad used to get that, okay? Like let's just say, for example, he wanted to get a new VCR. Okay, I remember back in the 80s, the VCRs were really, really important, right? And so he wants to make sure that he gets the best quality. Okay, he looks at Sanyo, he looks at Mitsubishi, he looks at all these other companies that make, you know, the VCR. I know that's so dated, right? But still, it's like he wants to get that information. There should be some sort of thing where there's like, you know, hey, this is a reputable company, and people should be able to, you know, base, you know, who they go to on these sort of ratings. I mean, there's so much to be done online when it comes to help in protecting people's safety, help protecting people's assets, allowing withdrawing that cork. That's that cork that's, you know, plugging up the economy and making money flow. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so anyway, that's one thing I want to say. Also, I got the intuitive message that the pyramid peeps, you know, want to make peace, and I'm fine with making peace. I'm fine with it. I'm cool with it. I'm ready to move on, okay? I really am. All Maria wants to do is make, you know, move on. But I am talking about this issue because I feel like it's icky, sticky in my brain. I need to want to, like, get it out really quick so that I can feel better, so that I can focus. Because right now, my brain is just like chopping. I'm like getting all these messages in all these different directions. I get, and I want to thank everybody who's supporting me. It really does mean a lot to me. Okay. And so, like, really, I understand what happened, the whole issue with the families thing. I understand the kidnapping, blah, 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 I'm in love with CB Berganza. Okay. I love who that person is. I love that person. Okay, because I see myself as the female CB Berganza. I'm looking through my closet. I look through my little my knickknacks. I look at things I have, and it's like I see that past life. I see who I was, and I see how it's come out now. I'm going to change slides real quick. Okay, so just like, you know, back in the days when CB Berganza was walking the United States, looking pretty cool in his turban and his like really exotic clothes and whatnot, you know, I'm dealing pretty much with the same sort of experience. I know a lot of the bullying, and you know, he was 95. He held it out for a really long time. Okay, so CB Berganza must have been one tough guy. Okay, and so, but he didn't have peace of mind. He was always disturbed. And I know this because I grew up and lived a life that were brought, nothing around me was positive. Everything that was around me was meant to make me disturbed. Okay, seriously, because this was an experiment. I was born and created and put into a program that where this was like this experiment that was going on. Okay, so I'm cool, you know, pyramid peeps. Like I said, all I really want to do is focus on, you know, writing content, because I'm into content right now, and I'm into sharing my life. I'm interested in, like, you know, expressing my vibe so that I can attract the right tribe. Meaning, like, you know, I know in the past I dealt with a lot of fake friends. I've dealt with, you know, whatever. But this time around, it's like we have in life, there's choice and there's chance. Okay. It just happened by chance that I got a crappy family. It just happened by chance that, you know, I was born into this experiment. Now I have a choice. Okay. And I can choose to avoid toxicity. I can choose to, you know, learn how to combat, and other people can do this too. They can learn how to combat the negative, what do you call it, energy vipers, the psychic vampires. Okay. And there's a lot of them. Okay, there's a lot of them, and this is some of the stuff that I talk about on my channel. Okay, because, you know, it's like I think everybody's main goal in life and really is to focus on themselves, to get themselves out of this horrible nightmare. Okay, and get up to the next level. That's it. Okay, and the important thing is just to stay in your own lane, focus on your things that are for your well-being. And we get distracted, and sometimes we get sucked in. Unfortunately, I was totally sucked in. I was gobbled up by this program, you know what I mean? And how could I even have known, right? But people have outside distractions, and obstacles that they have to overcome. And this is some of the things that I like talking about and I like teaching about. So, and yeah, I'm fine with you guys, pyramid peeps. I mean, but seriously, you know, everybody has to have boundaries, okay? Because it's about comfort level. What are you comfortable with? You know what I mean? And that's it. You know what I mean? Obviously, I wasn't comfortable with what was going on, and you know, I already dug into that, and I'd like to just kind of not talk about it anymore. You know what I mean? I think it's time for everyone to just kind of move on from it. The thing is, what do we do now? We obviously have learned a lot from this experience, okay? And I do remember making in my video, oh, maybe it was about 4 weeks ago, I was talking about my opinion about, you know, how leaders get wrapped up into the world of celebrities. Okay, now some people do things for the hoorah. What I mean by that is, like, you know, those people, they work up people's they play on people's emotions, they play on people's, you know, whatever, and they get on people's good side, and they use forms of propaganda in order to do it. Okay, like what was, you know, in my case, people were setting me up to be exploited. Okay, financially exploited. Also, somebody wanted to, you know, tear down my character, and they used their political sway in order to do it. Now, obviously, when you think about this from a political standpoint, okay, this is just one of the reasons why I have become disgusted with politics. Okay, what I think, what I'm saying is, leaders. There's nothing wrong with a leader associating with celebrities. Okay, there is a problem when a leader considers themselves a celebrity. Okay, this is not about entertainment. We're dealing with people's lives. Okay, and this is something that I feel is very important. And this is something that I felt was so very important my entire life. Is one of the reasons why I really felt frustrated when it came down to politics, my participation of it, and then also expressing my opinion of it, because I understood that I was always going to be looked upon as the outsider, even though the odd part was that I was actually following the guidelines of how the country was meant to be run in the first place, when you really look at it, right? But when people get, the problem with it is because we dealt with what? Ignorance. What people have forgotten to work within the guidelines of law structures, you know, things that are already established, that was agreed upon, signed, notarized, documented, you know, sealed away in the White House long time ago. It's been handled, you know, from the get-go, and somehow they end up falling back on their human nature. I want things to be this way, and so they'll start doing stuff that's autocratic, things that, you know, is good for them, fun for them, entertaining for them, and then also gets a ride out of the crowd. You know what I mean? And if that's exploiting somebody else, well, then that's exactly what they'll do. And unfortunately, when you have a position of power and you're a leader, that should not be accepted. Okay. Now, I am a free-spirited person. Okay, and I'm free-spirited so much so that, you know, things like government have always freaked me the fuck out. Okay, but I've always known to have respect for government, even when people were in positions that they should not have been in, because I understood the fact of the matter is that if we had no government at all, shit would be 10 times goddamn worse. Okay, it would be worse. Okay, because we understand what people naturally fall into. They fall into corrupt ideas and whatever. Okay, so the small little bit of regulation, which we hardly have any. Okay, we hardly have any, and this proves it. Okay, but the small little amount that we do have puts people in check a little bit. Okay, do I think that people should be put in check a little bit more? Yes. Does it have to be laborious? No, it does not have to be. Okay, but people should be aware of things like the law. Okay, they should be. Kids should know this. They should know this. It should be taught by their parents. It should be reinforced in the school system. Okay, now I know in the last few years the school system has been showing, and I'm talking about my personal opinions, okay, right now, but I understand, like, the school systems, you know, they've thrown people off with history, whether they've made stuff up or whatever, okay. I have only really appreciated in the school system what I call the absolutes. The absolutes would be things that cannot be changed, modified, or whatever, which would be mathematics, okay. 2 plus 2 is going to be 4 in this country. It's going to be 2 plus 2 equal 4 over in the UK. It's going to be that way in Mexico. It's that way in Canada. It's over that same thing in Israel. It's the same thing for everybody. It's always going to be the same. It's never going to change, okay? Numbers are consistent. They are stable, okay? They cannot be modified, cannot be changed, okay? But what can be changed? What can be changed is sometimes history, whatever, okay? But when it comes to education, education is supposed to help you become more well-rounded. It's supposed to make you a civilized person. It's supposed to be able to give you that sort of platform, okay? So, like, you know, when you go back, think back, okay, in high school, and then as you progress, okay, some of you guys went to like 4-year colleges and stuff, right? Okay, but you've taken things like economics, okay, you took things like civics, you took things like government, right? And if you took things like psychology or sociology, these are the things that are necessary, okay? And then unfortunately, the people who go to these institutions of learning, they are absorbing this information, but they're not able to, what do you call it, produce anything with it. That's the biggest problem, okay? We have a lot of people, like I had mentioned before, who go to college and they go through the system. They might even get an A, you know what I mean? They might, you know, whatever. But at the end of the day, when it comes to putting these things in practice, they either forgot it or whatever, didn't mean anything to them, or they're dealing with some influence that comes outside or whatever, okay? It is what it is, okay? But these things, understanding human nature, okay? Now, if I was somebody who was building the political system, I'm going to tell you what, the ideal political system is built off of, number one, the average lifespan of a human being, okay? Because the whole goal to have a society that is going to be run well is to make sure that they have the best quality of life possible, right? So how do you do that? You base it off of the quality of life. So you would be, from that point, you would use that information. How much education do they really need? Okay. Um, and then also, you know, I think that that's the main thing, okay? Because that can take up a lot of your life, okay? You want to make sure that things that, like learning and learning skills, trade happens within a certain window frame within a person's life so that they can have a longer existence of enjoyment of the things that they've acquired. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm not going to go into any idea of my what do you call it, my vision or what I would do, okay, because that's not my point, okay. But my point is that, you know, I do see a lot of times, I talked about, you know, the HR representative who suddenly becomes a marriage counselor. Or you got all these people doing shit like surprising the hell out of me, like, what are you doing, okay? And like, you know, I'm not going to go into it, but doing things that they shouldn't be, okay? Everybody has their place, okay? And I think that we should, you know, give these responsibilities to those who are responsible, those who are going to protect the freedoms and the rights of the American people. Okay, respect it, but most importantly, know and understand it before going into it in the first place. That's my thing. Okay, that's what's important. And so, and that would be basically a part of my other part of my political belief. But anyway, I do believe that leaders should be taking their responsibility, take it seriously, and understand that their actions do have play a big part on society. Okay, and it's important, you know what I mean? And that's all I'm saying. So the next thing I want to say is that um, a lot of people are freaked out about what's happened, and just keep your cool. Okay, I think things are going to get better. Just keep your cool, but stay in your own lane. Like I said, stay in your own lane. So my life is always about staying in your own lane, and this is what people get, you know, people are talking about. What I think is funny about YouTube videos, like the ones I watch, like I watched a few of them this morning because I got up early this morning and had to go to the store, and I decided to get out of the house a little bit more to get more sunlight, just to shake up the routine, because God knows I need to. I have been in my bedroom for like the longest time, okay? So I wanted to get some sunlight, and I got out. So I was like, I took the bus, right? And we all know bus people are cool. So I got on the bus, and I was thinking, you know, as I was on there, and I was thinking, you know, how much, how long this has been going on, how frustrated I've been, how unfortunate it is that, so many people live in a state, a condition where they just don't know. You know what I mean? And it's like I sometimes I get freaked out because I realize how um, how easy it is to lead people in error. You know what I mean? I realize that, and that's why I understand it's important. Just like when I was talking about, workplace mobbing, about how management and business owners get set a bad example by participating in this stuff. Like when I found out Steve Murray was like, orchestrating that my bullying and stuff, I lost respect for him. Mind you, I had lost respect for him like way before that because I had seen too much of his schmoozing and his two-faced and stuff. But by then, when I realized he was doing that, I was like, oh, dude, you're a total asshole. But whatever. I had mentioned before the other message is like, when I talk about me not needing helpers, there's people I want to collaborate with, but I resented the help that was given to me because it was not given to me out of respect. It was given to me out of greed, and it was mostly, number one, they were, when I was referring to Libra 14 and the little like people who got involved in it, including these leaders who got involved in it. They were doing it because they wanted to bully me. They wanted to show me that they were better than me. They wanted to exert their power over me. Okay, and this is what the point is. I would prefer not to talk about this issue, like the whole the Libra 14 issue, anymore. I would prefer to just move on. I think this is the reason why I'm making this video, because I feel very upset and disturbed by everything that happened. I'm going to tell you this though, and I think it's really important that I mention that. I understand. Like, I had talked to some of these people, like some of these celebrities that I got a chance to talk to, like last fall, and I did talk to Libra 14 a little bit. I think I talked to him anywhere from like maybe two and a half months, maybe 3.5 at the longest. Okay, because the last time I remember talking to Libra 14 was sometime in February or March. Okay, that's the last time, and I do remember coming to understand that he was a part of some sort of like, he was basically becoming, or what I thought of as a somebody somebody who was gathering information. He was doing it because he was gathering information, and also he was doing it for bullying purposes. And I realize it had something to do with the experiment. Okay, but I don't know him very well. Okay, but what I did understand is that these people felt as though they were jealous of me and that they wanted to bully me. Okay, bully me. Okay, as if they didn't bully me in the 9 to 5. I do believe that him and Jackie and Eddie were a part. Jackie Arambula and Eddie Arambula were a part of this illegal operation, and then them having, the thing is, the reason why, the point I want to make is, and which I think is important, which I was really thinking a lot about on the bus today, as well as thinking about this last night. Okay, and me and my experience talking to some of these other celebrities. Now, I'm not saying all of these celebrities, but I'm going to say some of these celebrities, their ignorance shocks me. And this is me I'm not putting them down, okay? But what I've gathered from some of these people is, I had mentioned before that it seems very like they're being treated like circus personnel. And the reason why I say that is because they are being financially exploited, a lot of them. Some of these people don't have access to their finances, or and this is obviously a form of human trafficking. Okay, and these people were the reason why, I know that that it's illegal to do what these people did. Okay, meaning like, this is my work, why should you have anything to do with it? This is not in a formal business partnership, but the mentality of circus people, okay, or people who have never been educated on issues relating to business. I mean, to me, this is like the most basic form of business understanding that anybody should have. You know what I mean? I'm surprised. I would think a 7-year-old would know this. Okay, you cannot be considered a business partner. Or maybe he thought, well, if I pretend that I'm marrying her, okay, first of all, being a fiance, boyfriend, or whatever is not a legally binding contract. Okay, this is why I'm telling people, if you do not understand your rights, and the very fact that some of these celebrities that I was speaking to, let me understand that these people have been in an environment, possibly their entire life, okay, where they have been exploited, where they have been brainwashed, bullied, or given some sort of narrative that was wrong. And so they believe that this is how it was, this is the reality. When in fact, these people have been abused and exploited, right? So, um, the very fact that I do believe that maybe Labor 14 may have been coerced into, you know, doing what he did. But like I said, the very fact that he was surprised, like, what did I do wrong? This is what you did wrong. You don't do that stuff, okay? And like I said, like to me, a 7-year-old would know better, okay? But like I said, okay, I'm looking back on some of these conversations that I've had with some of these people, and I'm going to tell you, when it comes to people like Libra 14, this is my opinion. Everybody knows I was cloned, okay? I personally think that Libra 14 was cloned for his good looks, okay? Because when he was younger, he was quite the looker, okay? I'm just saying. And for his voice, okay? Because when it comes to his brains, I'm going to tell you he didn't have any, okay? So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. And I want to tell everybody who's giving me some support, thank you. I am working on some videos right now. I'm going to, start making announcements about how everything is going to be going shortly, and it's unfortunate because really my goal was to start working with celebrities this summer. Okay, my goal was to start meeting and greeting people this summer. Okay, and I'm somebody, like I need money to do that. And by what these people did, it created problems for me, and they had no right to do this. No right to do this. So number one, what we need is we need to have, much like they have like things like Glassdoor, there should be some sort of reporting that keeps track of companies that have content creators and have something similar to where there could be like a consumer report about those. Okay, I can't create it, but I'm giving you guys ideas out there to create it. There's some of you guys have the ability to create it. Can you create it? Do it. I'm sending out the idea, okay, because it's much needed. Okay, also, so people need to be educated on the importance of their content. Yes, that's your content. You create it. It's valuable, okay? It's an asset. Treat it like it is, okay? And you need to be very careful about what you're doing online, okay? Unfortunately, this is the time that we live in. It is what it is, okay? So then also for people who are coming to the understanding that they have been victims of human trafficking, hang on, you guys, things are going to get better, okay? But just don't let it get to you too much, okay? There's all kinds of injustices that go on. Believe me, I know. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video, and I will be back with another video sometime later. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.